Hey everyone, Saintrewin here. Welcome back to another video. If you're new, make sure to smash the subscribe button so you can keep up with the videos that I'm doing. Today I'm doing a video on my Abyss completion run, just path 1, the easy path, if you could call it that. And I'm just going to let everyone know pretty much what to expect when they head into the Abyss. I thought I kind of had an idea of what I was in for, but I certainly didn't. So maybe just if you see how many revives I used. I'm not the most skilled player, but I'm not that bad as well. I did get to the enrage quite a lot. It was basically just that I wasn't doing enough damage in the time that I had with the team that I had. So that goes on to the team. So I'm going to tell you the team that I took in, go over that. The stash that I had before I started my run, which is revives, potions, etc. Resources for each fight, so just an overview of how many revives I used, how many potions I used, and units spent for each fight in particular. Time spent on each fight, so the total run time and for each fight in particular, I've got in there as well. Units spent for each fight and total spent for the entire run. And then I'll just have a bit of a chat about what I would do differently. Maybe ranking different champs up or waiting for different champs, and things like that. But with that being said, let's get into the team. Okay, so now we are in here to have a look at the team. So first up we have Stealth Suit Spidey. So I took him in as a 5-star rank 5, sig level 49. His signature level isn't that important. It does give him a bit more damage output, and sig 49 is actually got, I think it's about 20% extra potency on his Furies. Which is pretty much half of his sig ability anyway, so it's not too bad there. The main reason I brought him in is as a damage dealer. Not having Aegon, you do need a decent damage dealer that can kind of do decent damage throughout the entire enrage. So he can bypass the enrage as well. So in some fights, if they've got an easy level 1 to evade, he can just keep going, like the Thing fight. Got that down in 2 revives, so that was quite good. And an unstoppable counter as well. Some of the cosmics get unstoppable, which he was useful for as well. Next up we've got Void as a 5-star rank 5, sig level 49 as well. Ideally sig 200 would have been great. Could have got more damage output on him, but I was a bit too impatient, so unfortunately he was only sig 49, which is still enough of a sig level to keep Fear of the Void up throughout the whole fight. The main reason was a Mephisto counter, because you will need one of those. Power control, there's a few fights where he can control the power, like was it Mordo and Cyclops, he works quite well for. And to reverse healing, I didn't actually use the reverse heal in any of the fights, but I did try against Howard the Duck, but that didn't work out. Next up we've got Killmonger. He was mainly for, so as a 5-star rank 5 sig 200, he was mainly for Invisible Woman, to counter her. Not ideal counter to her. The best one would be Nick Fury, I believe, so unfortunately I didn't have him. But the regen you get with the Void synergy kind of sustains him till the enrage, but just doesn't get much damage in if you don't get to proc the Mega Bleed with the special 3. He was a possible Joe Fixit counter as well, and just to give Void a bit of regen as well, that wasn't too bad. Corvus, I brought him in as my rank 5 5-star, sig 20, doesn't really need the sig levels, but he was an Iron Man Infinity War counter. He was quite good, just being able to parry and get the armor break and shut him down wasn't too bad. Burst damage against the Collector, so he was my Collector counter really. And then finally Morningstar. 5-star rank 5 Sig 40. She was my nullifier. You do need somebody that can nullify or stagger, like Dr. Doom, and she did quite well. If I had it back again, I probably would have ranked up Sim Supreme over her because the Cat Marvel fight got fixed, but I had ranked up Morningstar before that with 6.2 100% in mind as well, so she might still help for that fight, but we'll see when we get to that. But let's go and have a look at the stash now. Okay, so now we're in here looking at the stash that I had before I started the run. To start off, I had 8,524 units, which I didn't really think was going to be enough. I thought I was going to try and save 10 to 12,000, but I did get pretty impatient and just wanted to just go get the run, get the rewards, and just get it over and done with, because I'd been kind of saving up for a month or two. But yeah, so let's have a look. So 20% revives, I had 26 in the stash, which I have put basically a value of 40 units, because they're basically saving you getting a 40% revive. So even though they're free, doing level up, doing solo events, I've kind of valued them at 40 units. 40% revives, I had 18, and team revives, I had 1. So didn't get very far. So I had 97, 750 health point potions. Was tossing up whether to put those in because they're not really that important, but I only had 108 of the Realm of Legends potions, the single potions, and I had 10 of the 10k potions, and they're valued at 28 units if you're going to buy them, so they're in the stash as well, which saved us a few units. And then I had some more of the team Realm of Legends potions and the team 6.5k potions, which I valued them the same as the 10k ones, but I don't believe you can actually buy those. I think I got them in an offer or something a while ago. So all in all, those potions would have been saving us over 2,000 units, so that's not too bad in the stash really. Ideally, I would look at trying to get over 30 of the 20% ones or more if you can, and the same with the 40% ones. I didn't find myself using the team revives, like even though I only had one, it was like halfway through the run, I thought I may as well use it. But you're normally reviving individual champs, so I'll just try and stock up as many revives as you can get. Potions. In Realm of Legends, I'll just try and save up over 250, because they will go a long way. You'll see in the later spreadsheet that I used a lot of units on 10k potions just to reduce like the revive costs in block damage and stuff. And looking at the boosts, I had 3 10% attack boosts, 6 15% attack boosts, 5 15% health boosts, 5 20% health boosts, and 1 25% health boost, 2 10% health and attack, 4 20% health and attack, and 2 30% health and attack. So I don't believe you can actually buy with units a lot of the higher boosts, like 30% revives, 30% health and attack, and 25%. So I've kind of just valued the higher ones the same as the lesser, just to get an idea of kind of what I would have saved on those unit wise. And I've put 1,320 I would have saved on boosts. That's if I used them all. I don't think I did use them all, but that's kind of what I would have saved in the stash. So for a total of 3,544 units saved in the stash. So ideally, yeah, I would have done a bit more saving with revives and potions in Realm of Legends. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to get it done, get it over with and get those rewards. So next up we have revives and potions for each fight. Okay, so now we are in here looking at basically each fight individually, the revives it took, the potions it took, the units it took, the boosts that I popped on as well. We're just going to go through each fight individually, what I would have done differently, just go over and have a look at each fight. So first matchup was Thing. He's only a smaller boss, 2.6 mil. He's quite tricky to fight normally. Everyone's pretty much getting the hang of him, but I used Stealth Spidey for this fight. I did plan to use 12 revives. I was being quite safe with that kind of guess. But I got him down in 40% revives. I used a few 750 health point potions to top Stealth Spidey up. But with Stealth Spidey being able to bypass the enrage, you can one-shot him. I messed up a couple times. I think I got him down to 50-something% first try, so I just thought I'll just go on with that one. So just a couple revives and got him down. It wasn't too bad. If you did have Aegon, you could just ramp him up on this fight. I saw a few of the other guys doing their run just ramp up Aegon on this fight and just cancel out before the enrage time is up. So next up we've got Omega. He was 2.6 mil as well. I planned on using 6 revives for him and it didn't quite go to plan. I didn't really factor in the fact that I was going to ramp up Morningstar on this fight as well and finish the fight with Corvus. So I used 9 20% revives on this one and 3 40% revives, 12 750 health potions and 32 Realm of Legends potions. Did use a fair few, but I kind of used the 20% revives and topped up Morningstar, just tried to get those souls up, and once they were up I pretty much went in with Void. I believe I used Void most of that fight, just trying to get used to that. But when I was ramping up Morningstar a couple of times, I got clipped on the dash back, and then Omega would bleed from hitting Morningstar, and then I would just get death fielded to death. But yeah, it didn't really go to plan, but that's kind of how that fight worked out. Quake, I planned on using 10 revives, but she is a 5.7 mil boss, and I thought I was going to get a lot more damage in before the enrage was up, and yeah, it didn't quite work out. So I used 8 20% revives on her and 11 40% revives, so quite a few extra than I thought I would. I used 35 750 health and 48 Realm of Legends potions on her as well. I hadn't put on any boosts yet on this, just because I just didn't really think I would need them all straight away, and I was just going to use them a bit further down near the collector and stuff to finish the run. Next off, going to Medusa. She's one of the smaller bosses. She didn't quite go to plan. I had planned 8 revives with her, and I used 9 20% ones and 1 40% with just a few Realm of Legends potions, because at this point Morningstar was ramped up. She was at 5 souls, so I was just using the 20% revives and just healing up with Morningstar. So it wasn't too bad, but it wasn't as efficient as I wanted to be against her. Next up was Mephisto. So he is one of the smaller bosses as well, 2.6 mil. I'd planned to use 6 revives, and I did use 6 revives against him with Void. And so I used 8 750 health potions and 8 Realm of Legends potions to top up Void in that one, but Void was getting the healing as well. I believe you can one-shot him with Void if you're very passive. Just get the debuffs on him and one hit every now and then, and he slowly just, his health ticks away. But I'm a bit more impatient, a bit more aggressive playstyle, so mainly I was doing double mediums or medium light medium to kind of get the most damage in smaller amount of hits. So that the Mephisto matchup wasn't too bad. It kind of went to plan. Moving on to Captain Marvel, wasn't too bad. After I found out she got fixed, I changed this to 4 revives planned. So she's 5.7 mil, but she does take, I think it's 1.5 mil, 1.5% every time you hit into a block or energy attacks by Mystic. So so that wasn't too bad. I planned for 4 and used 3 40% revives, no potions and no boosts. Also Mephisto, I spent 240 units because I had run out of the stash by then. So and Captain Marvel 120 units, so we're starting to eat into the units that we had at the start. Okay, next up was Ghost, one of the smaller bosses as well, 2.6 mil. I planned 5 revives on her and I used 6, so it wasn't too bad. I used a bit of Void for that one and then finished her off with Corvus. Void just helps with managing her, the power gain. When you get to 10 hits against a smaller tech champ, they steal the power that you've got, so Void just ignores that once you've got the Petrify or the Fear of Void up. And then if you can armor break them with Corvus, then that shuts down that ability as well. 240 units on Ghost. Iron Man and Infinity War wasn't too bad. I did a bit of practice with him because if you go to the right when you enter the Abyss, you can kind of fight him as the first fight, which was quite good to prepare. Here's a smaller boss at 2.6 mil. I planned 10 revives on him because I was just gonna basically just beast him down with Corvus and just do as much damage as I could. And I used 8 revives, so it wasn't too bad in the end. The final 15% is actually not too bad with Corvus. If you get the parry off straight away, it doesn't really get any power gain, so it's quite handy for that. So I used 14 750 and I used 8 of this 10k health potions in the stash. I did activate a couple of boosts, a 15% attack boost and a 20% health and attack for this fight. So total 320 units for the Iron Man Infinity War fight. Moving on to probably my most hated fight in the Abyss, which pretty much cost me the run being, yeah, it was just terrible. I hated it, hated it with a passion. So Joe Fixer is 5.7 mil. I had planned 8 revives. I don't know what I was thinking when I planned this, but I planned 8 revives against him. And I used 33 40% revives, which may be a bit of stupidity. It may be just things not going well. And I believe when I rewatched when I was double checking all this, I rewatched the footage and it was about 9 or 10 times he procced hearts at the start, which just gives him massive regen, and I exited out. I believe someone in my alliance told me you can take a heavy attack and he just resets it. But I wasn't going to try that, because if he doesn't do a heavy and then he just regens a ton, I was just, not even going to try that. So I used 11 Realm of Legends potions and 13 10k potions against him. I used Void for a bit, trying to shrug off the debuffs, but that wasn't really working, so I used Stealth Spidey and just tried to get in as much damage as I could. And I did activate 15% attack boost for this one and a 10% health and attack boost. In total, it was 1,684 units for Joe Fixit, which is just, it's almost as close, it's almost the same as the Collector fight, which was just, it's just my team. If you've got Aegon will shrug off the debuffs and just melt him. So this is pretty much the fight that I would say I wouldn't go in without Aegon again, but it's done now. I got through it, and yeah, and we move on. Okay, so next fight was Mordo. So here's one of the smaller ones as well, 2.6 mil. I planned 10 revives on him, basically just using Void, and I used 9 40% revives, so that wasn't too bad. It had gone to plan, and one 10k health potion. I did activate a 15% attack boost and a 10% health and attack boost, and 360 units for Mordo, so wasn't too bad compared to the Joe Fixit matchup. Next fight we move on to Venom the Duck, and he wasn't as fun as I thought he was going to be as well. So he's one of the larger bosses at 5.7 mil. 4 revives I'd planned to use against him because I was just going to get a bait out special 1 and then smash the special 2 with Morningstar and just kind of melt him down that way. And it didn't really go to plan. He wasn't throwing a lot of special 1s. By the time he threw special 1s, I was backed into the corner, and then sometimes I would not quite get to a special 2. I was only running 1 Mystic Dispersion, which was probably a good thing, a lot of it, because otherwise I would have reached a lot more special 3s and just not got the damage in. But I used 15 40% revives, kind of underestimated the 5 mil bosses health pools and the enraged kicking in, and I didn't use any potions. I just kept reviving, and no boosts for that fight, but 600 units for Venom the Duck. Moving on to Howard the Duck, here's another 5.7 mil. I guessed I'd planned for 6 revives against him, and that didn't quite go to plan either. So I used 18 40% revives against him and 8 10k potions, where you do need to parry a lot and throw off heavy attacks to get down the indestructible charges. So you do take a little bit of block damage, but I used Stealth Spidey for that fight because he's got a high crit rate, so you could get down the indestructible charges with some heavies and getting off the special 1 to get the crit up and get some more heavies, and it got down pretty quick. But yeah, it did still take 18 revive, which is a lot more than you would think. 916 units for him, so not ideal with that one. Moving on to Hyperion, he was probably worse than I expected as well, but any Hyperion matchups not really that fun. So he's smaller at 2.6 mil. Revives I'd planned to use was 10, and I used 16 40% revives and 1 team revive. I think at this point everyone was kind of KO, so I just thought I'd just throw off a team, throw in a team 1 revive in there, and I used 2 10k potions and 5 of the team Realm Legends team potions just to top them up after I used the team revive. 1 10% attack boost and 1 10% health and attack boost, and it was 696 units for that one. Mainly used Morningstar for that fight, and I also tried Void and Stealth Spidey, but it didn't really go to plan, so I just mainly used Morningstar for that one. The champion fight is 2.6 mil. I'd planned to use 10 revives, and I used 11 40% revives and 1 10k potion, so it wasn't too bad. It kind of went to plan. I used Stealth Spidey mainly for this one, just to ignore the unstoppable and bypass the enrage, but I didn't quite get to bypass the enrage. I kind of struggled against him, but probably didn't do as well as I should have against the champion, but it is what it is. 468 units for him. Moving on to Cyclops, we'll just move down a bit. Cyclops, he wasn't too bad, to be honest. He's a 5.7 mil. I'd planned 15 revives because I heard he wasn't that bad. I did use 18 40% revives, but it wasn't as bad as I thought because I just used Void. Once I got the Petrify up, he wasn't really getting to any special attacks, so you could just fight him as normal and just play pretty slow, pretty passively, but Void doesn't do that much damage. So it was a long fight. So 720 units against Cyclops. Moving on to Loki, 5.7 mil. He took a while to get down as well. I planned eight revives and used 16 40% revives. I did use a 15% attack boost and a 25% health boost against him. So it was 640 units for the Loki fight in the end. I mainly used Void against him, just to help with his power gain, getting the special one all the time, and also you can't stay at one, but no power at all for quite a while. So I didn't want to use Stealth Spidey and then keep going down to no, using a special 3, going down to no power, and then having to quickly get some more power up. But yeah, that's how that fight went. Wasn't that bad really. Aegon, smaller boss, 2.6 mil. I'd planned for 4 revives against him. Using Morningstar, I used 7 40% revives. I didn't use any boosts or potions, and it was 280 units. The Morningstar fights weren't too bad because she's got the lifesteal, so you don't really need to use the potions. Invisible Woman was one of the more annoying fights. Just with my team, Nick Fury would be the best counter for her, but don't have Nick Fury. She's only 2.1 mil. I'd planned for 10 revives and I used 27 40% revives. One 10k health potion, one 10% attack boost, and one 25% health boost, for a total of 1108 units on Invisible Woman. I did use Killmonger for her because he just gets the regen with the Void synergy, shoots right up to full health, but I was finding it hard to get off his Mega Bleed, so ideally you want to just get the first shield down, just continue attacking, and then next time you get the force field down, throw off a level 3 and get the Mega Bleed and do damage that way. But every time I got to the second shield down, I would either get stunned because it didn't quite get to a level 3, or use a special attack in time and just get wrecked. So it didn't quite work out, but the plan, yeah, just didn't work for Invisible Woman. It wasn't very fun at all. Moving on to probably the most fun matchup in the Abyss for me was Cull. Just using Morningstar. He's a 5.7 mil boss. I had planned 4 revives and I only used 1 with Morningstar. I went in, I can't remember how much health Morningstar had, but I went in and he just wouldn't throw a special. I got backed into the corner and then I parried and he just killed me with the block damage. So the first one, so I left him at 100% and then revived up and then pretty much one-shot him. So 40 units for that one. He's not too bad at all. You could use a 440 Morningstar for him if you wanted. The last fight, the Collector. So he's a 4.2 mil. And I had planned 50 revives for him, and I used 50 revives as well. I did spend a lot more on 10k health potions. I bought 37 of those. So because of the block damage you take from the special 2 and the special 1, it's definitely worth popping a 10k health potion in there. I was evading the second and third parts of the special 2, so I was kind of minimizing block damage that way, but you don't really last that long because you're baiting out heavies and you can't parry against him, so 10k health potions against him are definitely worth it. In the end, I used 2 15% attack boosts against him, and 1 20% health and attack, and 1 30% health and attack for 2,112 units against him. That's kind of what I expected. I wasn't really that phased about the collector fight taking so long. It was more the fact that a few of the fights earlier on took just way more potions and revives than I actually wanted to use. So probably poor planning on my part. But so totally I used 26 20% revives. I used 261 40% revives and 1 team revive, 90 750 health potions, 103 Realm of Legends potions, 71 10k health potions, just 5 of the team potions. I used 2 10% attack boosts, 6 15% attack boosts, 2 25% health boosts, 3 10% health and attack, 2 20% health and attack, and 1 30%. So in total, my run took 10,544 units. So definitely a bit more than I had anticipated. Well, I kind of expected it to be around 10k. I was going to save up 12k, but I didn't. So that's kind of how much it took for me to get it down without any of the horsemen. I did have decent champs in the team, but it kind of just shows kind of the health pools in the Abyss and the way the enrage works, where you can't just keep a combo going. It does make it hard. You just need to get as much damage as you can in before the enrage kicks in and you get wrecked. But yeah, let's move down to the time it took for each fight. So the Thing, he only took 20 minutes, wasn't too bad. A couple of revives. Omega took 49 minutes. A lot of that time was looking at Morningstar's special 3, so it took a while. Quake took 47 minutes, which isn't too bad compared to the Omega, who took 49, and he's got half the health. Medusa took 22 minutes, so one of the quicker ones. Mephisto took 32. Probably took a little bit longer than I should have on Mephisto, but that's because using Void, you just kind of take your time and just let the debuffs tick away his health. So Captain Marvel was 5 minutes, so nice quick one there. 26 minutes on Ghost, so that's not too bad. 24 minutes on Iron Man Infinity War, reasonably quick. Joe Fixit took 1 hour and 9 minutes, so dealing with him for 1 hour and 9 minutes made me definitely want to quit the game, but I'm still here. 32 minutes for Mordo. He wasn't too bad, I didn't mind that. But yeah, it took a little bit longer than some of the fights because I was using Void. Venom the Duck, even though he took a fair few revives, he only took about 37 minutes to get down. Howard the Duck took 1 hour and 2 minutes. A lot of that is just trying to get down his indestructible charges, so it took a little bit longer for that one. Hyperion, 50 minutes for him. He did take a lot of revives, but it's also trying to bait out specials so he doesn't quite kind of get to the special 3 all the time, can take some time. The Champion, 38 minutes, so kind of one of those mid-time fights. Cyclops took 1 hour and 7, so he was definitely one of the longer ones. And Loki took 1 hour and 3 minutes. Aegon took 19 minutes, so it wasn't too bad, pretty quick with Morningstar. Invisible Woman took 1 hour and 36 minutes, so she was quite long. I actually stopped halfway through her her fight and just went on a dog walk, kind of got away from it, and yeah, I just needed to regroup myself. It wasn't fun, that fight. So and then Cull only took 4 minutes, so he was just a quick one. With Morningstar, Collected took 48 minutes, so he was actually reasonably quick, but maintenance kicked in when I had him about 6%, so I did have to wait for that to finish as well, so I could get him down and get the rewards. But in total it was 13.5 hours, which is, so that's just the time spent on the game. I think I did it over about, I had a few hours sleep, and then I woke up and then kept going on it. So yeah, it's definitely long, so you want to make sure you have the time, whether it's between war and AQ, or even just maybe take a bit of a time away from an alliance to get it done or something. But it's definitely one that you need to take some time spending in getting the 20% revives. Just get as many as you can of those. Realm of Legends potions, if you can just do as much of that as you can in the weeks leading up. So obviously do it closer to your run, because they're just going to expire in there anyway. So if you can do that, save up the boosts that you can. I probably should have used a few more boosts. Might have kind of been a bit lighter on the unit costs, but I just used what I thought I needed in the end. But yeah, so that is basically the complete rundown of my Abyss completion run. If you do want to have a look yourself at the spreadsheet, just give us a yell. My line ID will be in the description, so you can just hit me up on there. And I'll be able to send you over the spreadsheet just so you can have a look, or change it into what you used, if you're wanting to kind of keep a track of what you used. But yeah, so that's it, guys. If you did like the video, make sure to smash the like button, hit subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.